We're live. See how dark I look in there. Good morning, everyone. Bring your volume. Hey, everyone. Don't know if you can see me or not. Just there we go. All right, now turn your volume up so I can hear that one. I'm going to turn my volume off. Hey, everyone. Don't know if you can see me or not. Just there we go. All right, now turn your volume up. So I'm going to turn my volume off. All right, we've got lighting issues in here. Sorry about that. Don't know if you can see me or not. Just there we go. I'm here in the. I'm turning your volume off. We're going to hear both of these. All right, sorry. Sorry, we're trying to get this figured out. Okay, we're going to turn our volume off so we're not listening to ourselves talk. I'm here in New York at my sister Patty's house, and I've been here since Tuesday night. Yeah. And we are trying to get better lighting here. See what we can do. We'll put the. Oh, I had a brief moment of something here.
Why it's so dark?
It's a little better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it's so dark, but you're going to be able to hear me probably. You probably don't want to see me this early in the morning anyway.
Hey there, Hay is here, and Grant Hubbard is here.
Oh, hey there, Hay is Steve. And Steve's not with me today because he's still back in Virginia. But he's joining us via internet. And then Grant Hubbard, bring your computer over here so I can see the chat, if you will. Hi, Grant. I'm glad you could join us this morning, too. I'm not sure how many people will show up because it is awful early, and there's probably people out there trying to get some Black Friday deals. But I am here with my sister Patty. So, and I don't know what's going on with this lighting.
I'm seeing it. Really good.
Okay. So, but I just turned my computer to get you in it. So, anyway, we are the first, I think, in the CreateNotHate chain here for the Black Friday live stream. And Pat Monster asked me to tell you a little bit about what's going on. This is how this all started. Gail Crabtree, which is a YouTuber that I watch and that Pat Monster watches, and there's a whole community of us that kind of watch together. We are, hi, good morning, Iron Firehouse. I'm glad you could join us. I'm going to try to explain what's going on a little bit. I'm probably sure that some of you know it. Gail Crabtree started this. She went to Pat Monster and said, why don't we do a collab? And good, thank you. My feed is good. So Patty, you got to watch the comments here because it's going to distract me from talking. And you Dizzy here, you Dizzy in the house. Hey, you Dizzy. Here with my sister Patty. Say hi, Patty.
Hello. I'm trying to get light.
So anyway, Gail Crabtree went to Pat Monster, asked him if they wanted to do a collab, to do a live stream for a chain for Black Friday and have a bunch of YouTubers get together and just everybody take a time slot during the day. And he said it sounded like an awesome idea, but the only way he would do it if he could do a charity event, and he wanted it to go to a charity of my choice. I do a lot of charity work.
Bath.
Inside voice. The dog seat. We have a big dog. All right, bear with us 1 second. Sasha. We have a big dog here, and she barks when things go down the road. So there's a horse and buggy just went down the road because we're living in around an Amish community. So she doesn't like the horse and buggies. So I'm sorry about that, but Anyway, Pet Monster said the only way he would do this chain event day is if it could go to a charity. So he contacted me and asked me that if Steve and I would be involved in a chain stream for Black Friday, and we told him it would be okay. Who let the dogs out? Yeah. You want one? I'll give you one. There's a couple here. So Pet Monster, when he initially approached Steve and I, he didn't tell us what this was about. He just asked us if we'd be involved in his chain. So of course we said yes, because I love to help Pet Monster out with the things that he does, the collabs, and love to be part of it. So we said yes. And the next day and told us what he wanted to do. And he said he wanted to do a charity chain, and he wanted us to pick the charity of our choice. It's hard for me to ask anybody for money or anything because I've always been a very independent kind of person, and I appreciate so much. My heart goes out to Pet Monster for wanting to do this, and I did agree to it. I talked to Steve, and we did agree to doing this. It's just overwhelming to know that somebody else cares about our community and wants to help out. We do a lot with the community through our church, and I didn't want to pick one specific organization to have the money go to. I wanted it to be able to benefit the organizations that we help in our community. The best way to do that is to filter it through our church. So we have a missions committee in our church. We have separate funds for our missions committee. What Pet Monster doesn't know that I wanted to say this morning is our church has been struggling for a little while financially. And this year in missions, they just had a meeting to set up finances for next year. There is no money allotted to missions this year. So any missions we do this year is going to come from out of pocket. Last year, a lot of it came out of pocket anyway. The committee didn't put forward. We asked the congregation for up and above their regular what they donate to the church. The people do give. There's so much opportunity to do more if we had more. So time being there's no budget money for missions right now. If the things that we're talking about touches your heart anyway, you want to give $1 or $2 or whatever you want to give, there is a link in the description box. And so, Patty, you can add it to the chat if you want to. Just put the link from the donation link into the chat box. And you can click on the link and go over and put a donation in if you want to.
It's right there.
Oh, it is. It's in the description box. Bar. Yeah, in the down bar. In the description box below, there's a link that says "Help People in Need," and there's a link to where you can donate if you'd like to donate. And we welcome. We're not saying just by coming to this live feed you have to donate. You don't have to donate if you can't. If you can't do that or don't want to do that. Hi, Boss Man. But if you would like to do that, we certainly will love to have your donation, and we will, it'll go, every cent of it that we receive will go to the church missions. We're not going to keep any part of it. We don't want to keep any part of it. And I'm going to let you know how we're using it throughout the year. We're going to try to use some now if we can get it before Christmas time to help children in need. But I want to tell you about what our church does and what our missions does. I've been involved with the missions committee for a long time now, and I know Steve has too. There's a lot of different things that we do with our missions. And right now the missions committee is down to a few people. So we're a few people doing a whole lot of work, and just some awesome work. We have part of the missions committee that's called Providence Road Partners, and our church sits on Providence Road, of course. And there's a school, an elementary school that sits beside our church, or a couple of blocks down from our church. And we've partnered with the school. And you can't say church and school don't mix, or church and government, right? Because we've partnered with the school. All right, hang on 1 second. We partner with the school, and there's a lot of need in the school right now because there's a lot of families in the neighborhood that they have a lot of need. So I remember one time when I was at the school, I'm going to tell you a quick little story. One time when I was at the school, they were doing English as a second language class, and I went in to volunteer to sit with the children whose parents were taking the English as a second language class. And it was a half a day of school, and I said, the little boy that I was helping out with his homework, I said, aren't you glad it's a half a day of school? And he said, no, I don't like half a days of school because when there's a half a day, I don't get to eat lunch. His family struggled financially, and he would look forward to free lunches at school. So without the free lunches, he wasn't able to eat. Yeah, Patty's in the kitchen. So I wanted to go home and fix him a sandwich, and my heart went out to him. And the thought of hungry children at that point, it spoke a lot to me. Just that one little statement that the boy made. So there is a Providence Road Partners, the group in our church that works from missions. They pack backpacks every Wednesday for the children to take over to the children to give them to take home for the weekend, so that it doesn't stand out that they have a bag of food or something. It looks like a backpack, and they're just carrying a backpack home with them. So the backpack is filled with food so that they have food over the weekends when they're not in school. I think right now, I'm not sure, maybe Steve can help me out with this because I know he's in our chat. But I think they're doing 12 to 15 backpacks right now for the children, and they'd love to do more. But they need donations of a certain amount per child per year, school year, to do this. So, the funding to do this is we have Sunday school classes, and each Sunday school class may donate a certain amount per year to sponsor a child, and we have enough to sponsor, I think it is 12 to 15 children right now for backpacks, so that they can eat over the weekend. We would love to do more backpacks, more feed more children. So we don't ever want a child in our community to go hungry. But in the world today, as everybody knows, it's hard if you're a single mom with kids to make it, because you can barely pay your rent. You don't make enough in a paycheck. You live day to day, and one little thing can set you back. So
Steve says it depends on the funds as to how many they provide.
Right. And I think right now they're probably doing about 12, but I know that the need is probably a lot bigger than that. So that's one thing that these donations is going to help out with, is we may be able to provide 5 more kids food on the weekends, you know, even if it's 1 more kid or 5 more kids. Other things we do, we work with different. One of the agencies that we work with is CreateNotHate, and CreateNotHate is basically a program that keeps or helps find housing for homeless children, families, single moms, and what they do is the families or the men or women sign up with CreateNotHate, and CreateNotHate provides shelter through churches. So they'll bring a bus with our church takes in families once a year. They'll bring a bus in the morning. Well, actually, they bring a bus at nighttime around 5 p.m. and drop the families off, and they're set up in a social hall or someplace in the church. And they sleep on mattresses on the floor, little thin mattresses. And if you want to see what it looks like, I just did a video on it because we just did that with our church this month. So, there we go. So go back and look at my video if you want to see what that looks like. They need 1 or 2 volunteers from the church to stay overnight there. One of the classes, Sunday school classes or groups from the church, will stay. One of the Sunday school classes or groups from the church will provide a dinner for them that night, and you, Dizzy. Oh, any little bit will help. Anything you give. I know where your heart is, you, Dizzy. I know you love the children.
The boss man made a point too that everybody should like and comment, or like and share.
Oh, thank you, boss man. I got Patty's trying to keep up with the comments here, but you know, I'm just honored that that Pet Monster chose me to do this. So anyway, somebody from the group, somebody from our church will come in, cook dinner for the families. So the families get a hot dinner every night. The children, they help the children with homework. They have little groups to come in to play with the children. This year we had, we started out with 9 single female with 18 children. Each of them had 1 to 2 children. During the week, a couple of them got housing, which was great, and left the system. And then got a couple new families in. So we got a mom and a dad and 1 child, and then we got a mom with 4 children, 2 sets of twins. And they were all under the age of 3. And then with Caritas, they need 1 or 2 people from the church to stay over every night. Steve and I, we stayed over one night. The first night we always try to stay over together. And then another gentleman from the church one night, and I stayed over with another lady from the church another night. We get up early in the morning at 5 a.m. and provide a hot breakfast. They don't get a hot breakfast at a lot of other churches, but we want to try to get them at least a hot breakfast. I cook pancakes and eggs and bacon and sausage, and we do have yogurt and cereal and other items like that, but we try to get them a hot breakfast. We asked one of the teens this time, when was the last time he had a hot breakfast, and he said 2 months ago. So he was really looking forward to the pancakes. We had a wonderful group of families in there. They eat breakfast at 6 a.m. and then the bus picks them up shortly after that and takes them back to the Caritas Center in Richmond. The children that go to school will be bused to their schools, and the parents, if they work, will be bused to their, and if they need medical care, Caritas tries to get them medical care, and if they need housing, or they all need housing, Caritas tries to get them housing. Now, these aren't people who are addicted to drugs and alcohol. These are people who are having hard times. Maybe in the past have had alcohol problems and have, are still working on that. But I'll give you a story of one family a couple of years ago that came into the shelter to show you that these are just people that are really down on their luck. The gentleman that came in with 2 teenage kids, and I was talking with him, and he was telling me a story, and he said he had worked at Circuit City, and Circuit City closed. Of course, we remember when that happened a couple of years ago. That's when he came into the church shelter. Teenage kids with them, and he said not only had he lost his job, but his wife had brain cancer. She had just passed away. The children had just lost their mom. He'd just lost his wife and lost his job, and now they're losing their home because of medical bills and because he has no income. And you can take a family that seems to have everything, and in an instance there's a sickness and it takes everything away, or they lose their job and it takes everything away. A lot of people struggle and they live paycheck to paycheck, and that most of us don't have a backup where we can say, okay, we can be with months. We'll be on the street. So this helps them to not to be living on the street, but to find somebody to help them to the next step. And if there's any way, especially with children involved, my heart goes out to the children, because the children are the innocent ones, and I hate to see a child on that doesn't have a home. They can only carry 1 tub of stuff per person that comes to the shelter. The rest of their stuff they have to put in storage. So a child has to leave all of his toys behind and their clothing, and they can come in and take the clothing home so that they can wash their clothing and have clean clothes for the next, the next week. We do have one shower in the church, which they all have to share, which gets a little rough sometimes. But that's what CreateNotHate does. And I'd like for some of the funding that we get, if you want to donate again, I mean, I don't know. There's that link to donate if you want to donate. Some of the funding that we get, it will definitely go towards CreateNotHate. Another organization that we help out is called Homeward VA. And what they do is they research why people are homeless and try to figure out ways and agencies and how they can help the people overcome homelessness. This agency, I personally know. She's a friend. She's a member of our church. Her family is very, very, very involved in missions. She's an awesome lady. She works very hard, and her agency does amazing work. Each year they put on 3 events that our church participates in. They have a count where they go out and try to count the homeless and find out why they're homeless and things to prevent homelessness. During these events, they set up tables. The Veterans Association will come in.
It says, as soon as the world realizes we are all in this together, it would be such a better place.
You're absolutely right.
He's running away for a minute. He said he'd be right back.
Okay, Grant, thank you. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we all need to look out for each other. That's why we're here on Earth, it's to take care of each other. And Pet Monster and Monster Chick have the biggest hearts. I swear they do. And Granny Monster, and for them to come to me and ask me to do this and say, we want to support you because and we love in what you're doing, and their hearts are huge, and I just don't even know how to thank them for that. With Homeward, because Pet Monster did want me to talk about what the charities were. With Homeward, we set up tables at an event. Now, the event sets up tables and they bring in different people, like dentists will work on people's teeth, and we have hairdressers that will cut people's hair, and just, provide them Social Security, able to talk to the Social Security Administration, able to talk to the Veterans Administration. Organizations come in where they have everything in one place, and people facing homelessness or homeless people have access to that. Our church joined in this because one year we went to help with the census, my girlfriend, Mary Lou, and I, and we were doing surveys, and as the folks came in, we would sit one-on-one with them and ask them the questions. Where did you stay last night? Do you have a permanent home? Where do you find food? Where do you find shelter? What put you in this position? Maybe some of them problems in their life. Maybe some of them had alcohol addiction or drug addiction. Maybe some had just come out of jail. They all were people looking for help, and everybody, regardless of your background, you're still people, and we still have to look out for everybody. People make mistakes in their life, and that doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they've made mistakes in their life. So, I mean, we need to really look out after everybody. We're all God's children. I'm going to say that. We're all God's children. Okay. So we saw...
Steve pointing out Mary Lou was awesome.
Yeah, Mary Lou was awesome, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Mary Lou in a minute. But my girlfriend Mary Lou, we saw that they were passing out some hats and some gloves, and there were barely enough for a dozen people there. And she turned to me and she said, "Val, this isn't going to happen next year. You and I are going to start right now, and we're going to collect hats and gloves. So when this event happens next year, we're going to have enough for everybody here." So, of course, because it was Mary Lou, I said, I'm going to do that with you. And we started immediately starting to collect clothing. Now, when we talk to the missions committee at our church and other people at our church, of course, everybody's like, yeah, that's an awesome idea, you know, because Mary Lou had that impact on people too. Everybody loved Mary Lou. So and it just kind of blew up from there, and we just started collecting everything. We collect sweatshirts, we collect anything that people wanted.
Variety cooking corner.
Oh, hi, yeah. She is a Sheriff's Variety Cooking Channels here from England, and she is one of my greatest supporters. She's been with me, I think, since I started my YouTube channel, and I love her and Harry, her husband Harry. She just got married, so say happy marriage to her. It's Lucy and Harry. So hi, Lucy. It's great that you could join us this morning, which is probably not morning over in England, but I love your channel, and I love that you support me the way you do. You're awesome. Anyway, our church started collecting clothing and everything, and now we have a room in our church, a missions room, where everything goes. If somebody has a bag of clothes they don't want or shoes they don't want, they throw it in the missions room, and we gotta sort it out. So sometimes it's a big mess. In November they do a really large event, and they give us a whole section of the convention center where we set up tables, and it looks like a big yard sale. And what happened?
Iron Horse. Sometimes other people's mistakes disable people so they can't work. I was hit by a drunk driver. We never know other stories.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. You just never know. And, you know, that can not just put you out of work. You know, you could lose your home. You could lose everything. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see people who have been put out like that. Mm-hmm. But it also breaks my heart. I'm a bad picture too.
I don't want to be in the picture.
And it also breaks my heart to see the children who
the kids,
you know, that they go down too. I mean, they adjust. Children are strong. They adjust to a lot of things, but then I think in their heart, they know that they're missing stuff too. So we get to collecting a lot of stuff. There's an agency in North Carolina called Comfort Socks. Take donations from churches, the donations of socks. They ask people to send them socks, and they now have started getting socks from different businesses too, are sending them socks. And I ask the lady every year, and I don't remember how I got connected with her, but through God, I'm sure. But I ask her every year, can you send me some socks for my Homeward event in November? And every year she'll send me some socks. And they're free to charities that will give them out to the homeless. They're socks for the homeless. And this year when I sent her a message through Facebook and asked her if she had socks this year, she said, I have all the socks you need. Tell me what you need. And so she sent us 700 pairs of socks. The only thing we have to do for these socks is pay the shipping on them. Shipping on them out of pocket, because I would never ask the missions committee, which I know has no money, to pay for shipping when they don't have the money to pay for it. And this is my donation to them.
Lost everything, so I have a big understanding. I'm out of here for real now.
Well, I'm so glad you've joined us, Iron Horse. And we do this for you. For people like you, you know, I know this is for our community, but hopefully there's other organizations around the world that, you know, maybe this Create Not Hate, love each other. Come on, people. You know, if one person pays it forward, you know, the world would be paying it forward. And I just think, you know, be that one person that starts it, and, you know, see where the need is and just reach out and help somebody. I carry socks in my car now. And if I go by a homeless person on the street, somebody sitting there begging for money, I don't ever give money. But I'm going to try to give them what I have if I have something. So that's why I'm keeping socks in my car now. I've gone by 3 people in the last month on the street, rolled down my window, said, do you want a pair of socks? And all of them had said, God bless you. Thank you so much. Yes, I do want the socks. Yeah. It keeps their feet warm. They're on the street and it's getting cold. throw a pair of socks in your car, throw a pack of socks in your car, a new pair of warm socks, you know, that means more to them than probably that dollar does, that you would give them that dollar or something.
You can't buy socks for $1.
No, certainly not. So, I mean, everybody needs a clean pair of socks. I don't know. So anyway, back to Mary Lou. My girlfriend Mary Lou started all of this. My girlfriend passed away a couple years ago with cancer. I have vowed that I will do my best that I can to continue on what she started. And also my girlfriend Brenda at the church, who is also chairman of missions right now. Her and I and Mary Lou worked hard to get these programs started. There was a lot of time. There was the first couple years that I kept the clothing that were donated in my house, in a room in my house. When it got larger, there was no way I could keep clothing in my house, you know, that was collected for missions. So they provide us a room in the church. But we vowed that we would carry on Mary Lou's legacy through some of the missions that she started in the church. Another thing we do is we support the Salvation Army at Christmas time. Mary Lou, when she was growing up, she didn't have Christmas. Her family was very, very poor, and she, as a child, never had Christmas. And she told me that story one time, and she said, as an adult, she swore that she would do everything she could to make sure that she could brighten some child's Christmas that didn't have a Christmas. So she would go to the Salvation Army and get Salvation Army Christmas stockings and bring them to church and ask people to fill stockings. And so since she's passed away, I now am carrying on that mission for her. I go every year and get 100 stockings. And Steve and I fill 12 of those ourselves. And the rest we put at church. And this year, I think all of them have been picked up. We're just waiting for them to be delivered. We told them to deliver them by the first weekend in December. So hopefully when I get back down to my home, they'll have left a lot of stockings for us. And I'll just take those down to the Salvation Army. And that'll be, will actually be 112 because I had 12 stockings that I didn't count in with that 100. I got my own 12 stockings. So hopefully we'll have at least 112 stockings to deliver over to the Salvation Army to go with any donations that they get for them. That's just something I'm going to continue to do for the children. Another thing.
Bossman said you're doing an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. I'm just, you know, my heart goes out. My heart goes out to Pet Monster and Monster Chic and Granny Monster and Gail Crabtree. And if y'all don't know Gail Crabtree, her link is in the description box below too. And she started all of this. And if it wasn't for her, this probably wouldn't be happening. And Pet Monster, and why he chose me, I don't know. But I'm so honored and I'm so thrilled for our community and for any help. And hopefully y'all will take some of these ideas and just go with them in your community. If it's just one small little thing or something that you can do just to help somebody else out, that would be amazing. So and give $1, $2, whatever that can help us. Maybe buy a pair of socks for somebody, you know, pay for the shipping for a case of socks. I think the shipping for a case of socks, I think there's 250 pairs of socks in a case, and I think the shipping somewhere around $30, $35. So, you know, if you wanted to sponsor a case of socks, or, you know, maybe it's $10 to fill a Christmas stocking. You know, you want to sponsor a Christmas stocking. Another thing we do with the A.M. Davis children is the guidance counselor will collect the names of the families that can't afford Christmas, and they'll provide them to our church in different groups within the church. Like our Sunday school class does dinners throughout the year, like maybe once a month, or less than that actually. We do a dinner and everybody in the class brings a potluck dish, and we charge people in the congregation to come in and eat for $5. We take the money that we collect and we put it into a missions fund for our class. And at the end of the year, when we get the Christmas families are given to the church, we pick a couple of families and we buy gifts for the children, and we deliver them back to the church before the set date that they're supposed to be. We wrap them too. We wrap them and put the child's number, because there's no names attached to anything. We don't know who the families are. We just know there's a number, a child age 12, and he's this size. He wears this size clothing, and this is what his hobbies are, or this is what he's asked for Christmas. So we go by the list, and if the mom has written on the list, my child is 14 years old and he needs a jacket and he wears size, that's what we buy him. If he likes to, you know, do Legos, so we buy him a set of Legos. You know, that's, go by the list that the mom gives us. But without the help of our church and our missions groups in our church, we wouldn't be able to support these families, and these children may not have Christmases. So we try to support as many families in need as we can. From this could help us to make some more children happy on Christmas time. We could support some more families, depending on the donations that come in. I know with our Sunday school class, we've raised $1,000 this year, just from, and I think there's like 8 or 10 members in our class that come regularly. Right. And every week that we come to Sunday school, we put $1 or $2 in the basket, and all that money goes towards the missions. And then any other funds we can raise from bake sales or dinners, that all goes in our missions fund. And we've collected $1,000 this year just from the people in our class, the work that we've done and put together. That will support, maybe, it depends how big the families are. If we take a family of 5, I mean, that will probably make out a big deal of it. But, you know, that's going to support a lot of children. And I'm thrilled that we're going to be able to do that. And I'm looking forward to going shopping, because I love the kind of shopping where I know that the families are going to be very appreciative, and a child that may not have Christmas is going to have Christmas. So anything we raise, we may be able to get Christmas for a few more children, and that would be so awesome for that. I would, you know, just be thrilled for that. Now, if Steve is still out there, because he's been pretty quiet, can you think of any other missions, the church, that is really impacted by funds? Because I just got a text that's from, that's from Brenda. That's from my girlfriend. And she's wondering, yo. Yeah. Oh.
What that means, but
yo. I know we do Upward Soccer, and that's within the missions field, and that is Upward Soccer is soccer done through churches, and it brings the children in the community into the church to play soccer on teams where they may not be able to do it where, you know, schools charge money or other organizations charge money for your children to play soccer. There is a small fee for their uniforms if they want uniforms, but besides that, there's not a fee for them to play. But some children can't afford to do that, so church groups will sponsor a child. So so that more children that want to play soccer can play soccer, and they can learn soccer, and there's no pressure. We don't really keep score. So it's not a pressure of you know, you have to be a good soccer player. Everybody can play. Co-ed teams, boys and girls playing together. The little ones, I think it starts at like age 4 or 5. That's also a mission of the church. We do need to pay for soccer balls and nets and those kind of things. So that's all through donations again. So again, these are all things that the money that will be collected will go towards children.
And it's all volunteer run.
Yeah, it is all volunteer run. Oh, you're absolutely right. We don't pay anybody to do anything because we can't afford to. So anybody that coaches, Steve referees, he's been refereeing. He coached for a couple years. He refereed this year and last year. And we totally rely on volunteers. There's nobody that gets paid from any of this stuff. It's all volunteers.
They said
So-
they've been doing it for 9 years.
The Upward Soccer. The Upward Soccer we've been doing for 9 years. Other stuff, I know we've been doing Homeward and stuff for longer than that. We've been doing Salvation Army Christmas stockings for over 10 years. I know we've been doing those over 10 years because I used to go down to the Salvation Army Center and help them pack the stuff that was donated down there. So, yeah, he's saying yes. So if anybody out there has any questions about these missions or anything, or, you know, this was not my idea. I am honored to be the one they chose to do this. But all my thanks goes to Gail Crabtree, and the links are in the description box below. She started all this. Pet Monster, who jumped on board and asked me to be involved and he wanted to help my missions. So I thank him, and I thank Monster Chick, and I thank Gail Crabtree and Granny Monster and all the monsters in this collab. And all of you who are going to do live streams today, and everybody listening, and everybody that's donating, and Grant Hubbard. And actually, there's a whole list in the description box below of when they're going to be streaming. And go by and check out all of these channels because they're all awesome people who are going to be involved. And we have Canadian Mayhem that's coming from at 10:30 a.m. and going to do his live stream. And Pet Monster is going to be mid-morning Eastern. This is all in Eastern Standard Time. And he's going to be going on with Lynn Denton. And all the links are there in the description box below. Grant Hubbard is going to be on after lunch sometime, probably early after lunch. Random Life Productions at 2 p.m. Granny Monster at 3 p.m. BOSSMAN Productions at 4:30 p.m. Txlilstar63 Monster. I guess that's what it is. Txlilstar63 Monster at 7 p.m. 420D 9 p.m. Illage Vidiot at 10 p.m. Monster Chick and Pet Monster will be broadcasting on and off throughout the day, and you'll see him on other streams. Pet Monster said he's probably going to be sleeping when I'm streaming. God bless you. But he said he'd try to show up, but he needs his beauty sleep, so let him go. You know, those monsters are, you know, they have bad hair days. So Convela Wolfspirits is at 10:30 p.m. tonight. And well,
it says 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So must be
she's going to be on and off, I guess, watching everybody.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to be on and off during the day today too, as far as I'm visiting relatives, and that's where I was before I knew all of this was going on. So I'm with my sister. We go, my mom is in assisted living, and we go and pick her up around 9:30, 10 o'clock-ish. And she spends the day with us here, and we take her back at 8 o'clock at night. My other sister and her husband come over if they don't have to work. And we all sit around and play cards and chat and stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This is where I am. But I am going to keep the chats up so that I can see what's going on. I do have my headphones if I need to you know, so it doesn't become too disturbing for the rest of everybody. They all are excited about what's going on in the streams too, so they may want to watch. But I'll join in the chats just as much as I can. I think Steve is going to be on the road today. He's not with me. He's, like I said, back at home, but I think he's traveling a little bit today, so he may or may not catch some of these streams. I hope that he does. It's just awesome what y'all are doing for us and for our community. This is going to help so many people, so many children, and the children, to me, that's what it's about. It's about helping each other, helping the children. Random acts of kindness. I mean, just do something random in your community that's kind. You know, you're driving through a drive-through, pay for somebody's meal behind you. I was in a pharmacy one time, and there was a young couple, and you could tell the girl was really, really sick. And I listened to their conversation, and they couldn't afford medicine. And they had $3 between them. And they didn't know how they were going to pay for their medicine or what kind of medicine they could get. And they were going to get her Alka-Seltzer because that's all they could afford. Alka-Seltzer cold medicine. And I walked up to them and handed them some money, and I said, you need to buy what you need. Now, I guess they could have picked it out and I could have gone to the counter and paid for it for them. But I was like, I listened, I walked away, and I couldn't walk away. I turned and I said, I got to go back and I've got to do something, because if that was my child there and she needed medicine, this girl was sick. And I said, if it was my child and they needed medicine, I would want them to have medicine. So it's a young couple, they're struggling, and it wasn't fake because I could tell she was sick. So she needed cold medicine. So those little random acts of kindness, and I'm not saying that to say I'm great, and none of this is to say I'm great. It's just to say I'm going to bring awareness to watching people around you in need and watching the needs and help them where you can, because you're going to get paid back 100 times over. If you're kind to others, people are going to be kind to you.
That's definite.
And I really truly believe that. And if I spend $10 on something, I'm never going to miss that $10. I mean,
knit a hat.
It's gonna come back to you. And I never feel like, no matter how much I put out for these missions, and I put out money on these missions, and I don't miss it. I mean, I really truly don't. And we've talked about this. I've talked about this with other people, and I really don't miss the money. It comes back somehow. I'm blessed back. So it may not even be money. It may be like somebody's hungry and you give them a meal, invite them over for dinner for a meal. We've done that before with a young couple that was going through some really hard times, and we invited them over every Sunday for dinner. And just something like that. It doesn't even have to be monetary. It can be a warm meal, or, a blanket or something. Yeah. There's families in our church, not in our church, there's families in our community that can't afford heat in their house, and they wear jackets and gloves to bed. And just a pair of gloves, you know what I mean? And not that we can pay for their electric bill, but something to keep them warm at night, a blanket, anything like that. If you knit and you want to knit a hat and donate a hat, right. Anything that you can do. And my girlfriends keeps I just watched you. Oh, she's watching me. Brenda's on the missions committee with me, and I told her that this was going to happen, and she was looking for me. So she was asking me if this was going to go on, and I haven't gotten back to her, and she says she's watching me. So so basically, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what Pet Monster wanted me to talk about this morning, of why we're doing this and what it's about. And we do have some puppies here. This is the puppy house. So YouTubers are very tolerant of each other's dogs. I told Patty, don't worry about the dogs. Just we'll do what we can. I know everybody's tolerant with background noises and children running around. And we love everybody, and we love their children, and we love their animals. And to me, it doesn't matter if there's a sound in the background. Our videos don't have to be perfect. We're not perfect people. So I do appreciate everybody coming to hang out with me today. This has been a really fun hangout. Again, I want to thank Gail Crabtree, who started this, Pet Monster, Monster Chick, who picked it up and ran with it, and Granny Monster, who jumped on board, and all of the people in the description box below that are going to do the live feed, the live streams tag today. Again, I'll go down the list one more time. We got Canadian Mayhem at 10:30 a.m. Pet Monster with Lynn Denton sometime mid-morning this morning. Grant Hubbard after lunch. Random Life Productions at 2 p.m. Granny Monster at 3 p.m. BOSSMAN Productions at 4:30 p.m. Txlilstar63 Monster at 7 p.m. 420 Dean Blazing at 9 p.m., Illage Vidiot at 10 p.m., Monster Chic and Pet Monster will be on throughout the day, and Convela Wolfspirit will be on throughout the day too, whenever she's needed to be on, I guess. So I just wanted to read that list through again. 100 thanks to everybody that's involved in this. If you want to donate to any of the charity, I mean, it's one donation to the church through to our missions committee through the church. I want to feed it through nonprofit. So that's where it's going to go. We will let you know throughout the year how we're using it. I'm going to keep you very involved in that. Like I always do. You know, I'm always posting my videos on the missions work that I'm doing anyway, as much as I can without showing the people, because we want to keep it and everything. So I will show the donation going to the church, because the donation will come in check form, and I will present the check to the church, and I will, if the pastor will allow me, to show that and to show the missions in the church, show a little more about the church and what these funds are going to do. I'll do that. Again, appreciate so much what Pet Monster and Gail Crabtree. Their links are down below too. So please check out Gail. If you don't know Gail, Gail's awesome. She's just returning from Alaska, where she went up and she was doing some vacation Bible school and other things up there with the community up there. So please check out her channel. Check out everybody's channel that's participating in this. Think of how you can help your community. If you feel led to help our community, we would love for the donations to come in. I appreciate everybody coming out today and hanging out with my live stream. If you're still with me and want to say hi so everybody knows you're here, and then we can say hi to you. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Brenda.
Oh, saying hi to
Steve
Brenda.
said hi to Brenda. Brenda's on my phone. So, but she did say she was watching. Oh, maybe she's seeing the link. She may not be able to. I don't know if she has a YouTube channel. So, anyway, again, this is Pet Monster's Black Friday live stream chain. And in the description box below, it's going to tell you everybody's channel that's going to be involved with this Create Not Hate chain, this event. All of their channels, and go to their streams and watch their streams. And
yeah, Steve said everyone knows.
Yeah,
it's down to 2, so
that's okay. Because we're just about done. It's going down on to 9 o'clock now. So appreciate everybody watching. I think
catch who's next?
The next will be
Canadian Mayhem at 10:30.
Canadian Mayhem at 10:30. So hit his link in the description box below. Go over to his channel, support his live stream, and he'll lead you to the next one. So, or they're listed in the description box. You'll see them down there. But anyway, this video will stay up. If you are coming back to this video and want to watch it, that's great. I think Pet Monster is going to link it to his channel so that anybody coming in and has a question of what the charities are, they can watch this. He wanted me to do this to explain the charities, some of the charities that the missions donations will go to. And that's the ones that we work with really closely. So that's where the donations are going. Again, I'm going to want to say a big thank you to Gail Crabtree, Pet Monster, Monster Chick, Granny Monster, everybody that's doing the live streams today. And thank you so much for your support and your wanting me to do this. And I don't even know what else to say. So God bless you all, and I will catch you on another live stream this afternoon with one of you guys that are doing the stream. So have a blessed day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, y'all. Say bye, Patty. Bye, Steve.
Bye,
Love
Steve.
you.
Bye, babe.